All right, what's up, everybody? Technically, there's nobody here yet. Well, I'm just saying what's up, everybody, for the replay. People that come in later. If you see this video and recommend it or whatever. Welcome to the Below the Beanie podcast. I'm your host, Below the Beanie, and I'm glad that you decided to spend some time here with me today. I know what you're thinking. Why would you be streaming right now when Michael Bisping is streaming? That's a horrible time to stream. Look, I'm doing it because this is the only time I'm able to stream today, and I have been a little bit under the weather, and I don't know if I'm going to get worse or not. I'm feeling a lot worse than I was yesterday. So I'm just trying to do this before it hits, before it really hits. This might be the last video before the new year. I don't know. I slept like a baby last night. I was waking up like every 10 minutes. My throat hurting me. People always use that phrase incorrectly. Babies do not sleep well through the night. And I slept like a baby last night. I had that throat scratch. Like where you can't even really sleep because it keeps like every 10 minutes, you're like, you wake up. So I had kind of like a montage of dreams last night because I was deep in that REM sleep. I had some funky dreams last night, but it was like a montage because I kept going in and out of different ones. I wasn't really able to carry any one concept through. It was nice. I don't dream a lot because I never hit that REM sleep, but I had the NyQuil last night and I saw some funky stuff. I'm telling you, come on. Uh-oh. Had the bottom fall out on me. Hold on, let me get all set up right here. I've been showing Jesse on fire some love since he showed you some love. The man's funny. Good to see you, man. Happy holidays. Love you. Hey, that's good. I like to see Jesse on fire getting some love. I know at the beginning, like on the onset, the early onset on Jesse head-to-head battle, a lot of people are like, hey, is it this Jesse? Is it that Jesse? Is the dress black or blue? And like, there's no beef there. I know a lot of people was like, is it like Jesse versus Jesse? And then like when it came to like, what's the other fool's name? The fool with the great beanie. The fool that hails from Jerusalem, the MMA guru. They were like, which beanie's best? Which Jesse's best? Hey, it's not like that. There's room for all of us, all right? There's room for everybody on the boat. Two of every kind, like all of us could get down together, in the name of MMA. It's all good. But yeah, it's good to see that fool getting some love. I do enjoy watching his videos. This is episode 7 Below the Beanie, and I was doing it different a while back. I was doing everything live. I'm under so much medication right now. You know how much vitamin C is pumping through my veins right now? Whoo! Below the Beanie was not a live thing before. I barely started doing it live, and I'm enjoying it much more. I like the people being here in real time so that I could talk to you back and forth and stuff like that. I did mention before, I know a lot of the other broadcasts that are live, DC, RC, Ariel Hawani, other people like that, they say that they're live, but it's all pre-recorded, and that's why they never are able to talk to people in the chat and stuff like that. But it's a completely different thing when I'm able to do it like this, and I'm happy for the people being able to roll through. I meant to do this yesterday. Below the Beanie was supposed to be every Wednesday at like 9 a.m. or something like that, but I got sick, and then today I slept in. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow at 9 a.m. Then I slept in, so I'm kind of happy that it ended up being this late because a lot of people are out of work and stuff like that. But that's not what you're here for. You're here about Chael Sonnen being locked up, and there's a lot of rumors flying around right now about Chael Sonnen. People want to know where that fool is at because he's not speaking. See, Chael Sonnen is not going the Brian Callen route. When Brian Callen got into some trouble, he was going on and on and on, letting people know that's not how it is. These people are lying. This is how it went down. He was getting on this article, on that thing. Chael Sonnen is kind of like going the Chris D'Elia route, where it's like, hey, fool, we're not hearing from you. So does that mean that you did it or what? Is it like confession by, how do they say it? Confession by silence or something like that? And there's stories coming out left and right about Chael Sonnen, and there's fools coming out of the woodwork that are like supporting him, but it's all people that are pushing the same narrative, so you don't know who to believe. It's all people like on the ESPN Plus side that are saying the same. Rafael Rojas, free Chael. See, look, so, hey, it's my suspicion that fool's PC'd up right now, that he got locked up and they got him put away because of his like status and stuff like that, and they don't want him intermingling with fools that maybe don't like the way that he tends to run his mouth and stuff like that. That fool's always talking papas. I said it the other day on Cameo because I am on Cameo now. If anybody's interested, somebody that was a Chael fan, I was talking to them and I was saying something like the amount that Chael talks papas and runs his mouth all the time, it actually does good for a Chael Sonnen type of fan for this kind of thing to happen, because that fool needs to earn himself some street cred in order to back up the stuff that he's always saying. That fool uploads like 15 videos a day. He's the only one in the MMA community that I think uploads more than the Weasel. So we're feeling the silence right now. It's a big gap right now in the MMA community. And I remember when he first got locked up, when he first got put in there, some videos got released and we're like, oh snap, this fool's like Pac. He's releasing from the joint. You know, he keistered a cell phone in there or something like that. And I thought that maybe he was going to be very prolific and everything, even behind bars. But now there's silence. So he probably had those pre-recorded or something like that. And right now, we don't know what's going on with him. So there's people like, what's that fool that looks like Adam Sandler? That's he was like the old UFC referee. He looks like if Adam Sandler and Master Ken had a love child. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. What's his name? He has a podcast with that other fool that knocked out Nate Diaz. What's his name? No, it's not the MMA guru. It's not him. Big John McCartney. Big John McCartney. Yeah. So that fool and what's his name? Josh Thompson, I think. That's his name. Him and then Brendan Schaub, a bunch of people were coming to the rescue being like, no. He's a good guy. It didn't go down like that. He's free right now. I know him and he's always happy and he never even said a bad word in his life and he's clean. I think he's actually at church right now. Like they're just coming left and right, like just building up his thing, making that fool sound like Sage Northcutt and everything. But how come we haven't heard from Chael himself? Because supposedly they're saying that he didn't even officially get arrested, that he didn't even officially get booked, but that they just kind of like cited him. You know, basically it's like if you were speeding and the cop was like, hey, I saw that you were speeding, just try to slow down, all right? All right, go on your way. They're acting like if that's what happened, well, then how come we haven't heard from Chael? How come Chael hasn't come out and said, like, it's all good, don't worry about me? The way that Chael talks, you would think that he would want to come out swinging, you know, and that he would be bragging and having a good time about it, like when Bisping had that little alteration with that other fool, and then that other guy just kept running his mouth for like a week, and he was in all the MMA videos. You would think it would be something like that, but Chael hasn't said nothing. And then John Jones came out basically admitting that he did commit domestic violence in his diss to Chael Sonnen. I think he since took the thing down. I'm not sure. But he basically like ratted out himself and his domestic violence and comparing it to Chael's domestic violence. So I don't know, like until Chael comes out and says like there was no woman involved, we don't know what's going on. Because supposedly a lot of people are saying that there was a lady involved. Some other people are saying that it was 5-on-1 and that he was standing up for his lady, that the only lady involved was his lady and that those fools were disrespecting, so he had to smash. But what I'm wondering is how come Chael's not saying nothing? That fool never stops running his mouth. But the moment we need to find out what's really going on, silence. We don't know what's happening. So as of right now, nobody's seen him. He hasn't posted nothing. He hasn't recorded nothing. He's PC'd up for all we know. We don't know what happened to him. There's no uploads anymore. There's no tweets. There's no official statements. There's no management team, no PR, no press. Nobody's saying anything. I think that fool sitting in his cell right now eating his cold oatmeal. Have you ever had the oatmeal with the syrup on it? That's how they get down in there. It's good. Ever since then, I started putting syrup in my oatmeal. I can't go back now. John Jones' fiance, MMA Guru's coming for you, bro. Hey, it's all love, homie. Let's go. We're gonna make like a buddy cop. We'll make like a buddy cop comedy. It's all good. I'm not tripping. He wants a Jake Paul fight? Who does? Chael or the MMA Guru? 5-0 is still investigating the incident. Chael will talk once he's cleared of all charges. See, well, Big John McCartney used to be a cop. I don't know if people know that. He was a cop before he became a a referee, and he was trying to give like the inside scoop and everything of the Chael Sonnen incident on his podcast with I always forget that fool's name, Josh Thompson, and he was like, no, he didn't get nothing. He was like, he didn't even get an official ticket. He didn't get booked. He didn't get arrested. He's like, it wasn't even a slap on the wrist. It wasn't anything like that. I forgot what he called it. They they had like an official, like they had some kind of police jargon for it, like some kind of term that he used where it was like, it wasn't even nothing. It's like if you tell some fool, hey, slow down, I'm not going to give you a ticket or nothing because I don't want to have to do the paperwork, but just be a good citizen. He said it was basically something like that because technically the cops have to do something to look like if they're doing their job, and that was it. Angus Ferguson, Grandmaster, the man from down under, wants to know, Izzy versus Robert 2, who you got? I have to go with Adesanya. Do I like Adesanya? No. Have I ever liked Adesanya? I've been a fan of him? No. Do I care for him whatsoever? No. A lot of people, by the way, think that people get it twisted because they watch one video here or one video there and they don't know the full narrative. There's a handful of people. I have 216,000 something subscribers, but there's 9 people. 9 of those people, very special to me. 9 of those people have like the full narrative, the full Mexican martial arts narrative, and they really know what's up. So here's my thing with Whitaker. Some people think that I like Whitaker and that I root for him and that I'm a fanboy and everything because of like him and Adesanya fighting and because I don't like Adesanya. So automatically, because I don't like Adesanya, they're like, oh, you're a Whitaker fanboy. That's not how that works. There's other people that think I hate Whitaker and I want to have nothing to do with him and I want him to die and all that because not supposedly, because he literally robbed. That's why they call him Robber Whitaker, medal twice. And it's not even like how some people say, well, Nunes and Valentina, like, yeah, I'm a Valentina fan, but let's be real, she only got robbed the second time. It's not like that. Medal got robbed twice. Both times. There's no gray area. There's no, yeah, but you got to think, no. He got robbed twice. So that's why from the get, I was like, it was hard for me to root for Whitaker because I always had that bad taste in the back of my mouth, But other than that, I don't care about that fool whatsoever. Just like people thought that I was a Costa fanboy just because I don't like Adesanya. I care about Costa about as much as I care about Adesanya. I don't care about that fool. But when it comes down to it, the attributes, the mentality, all the MMA math and stuff like that, I don't think Whitaker's gonna come back and beat Adesanya. I think that fool broke him mentally. I think he broke him in every aspect. I just don't think he has anything to offer him. I think that Adesanya, if he went toe-to-toe with them, sure. But that's not going to happen. Like, let's be real. I'm not going to try to be all optimistic about it and be like, well, I don't like Adesanya so much. I'm going to figure out a way in my mind that Whitaker's going to beat him. I'm an MMA truther. At the end of the day, hey, even at the beginning of the day, and if you find me in the middle of the day, you're going to find that I'm an MMA truther. There's no part in the day where I'm stripped of that truth. That's why you're here. That's why you're here right now. Not because I'm a bias. Is there bias? There's a lot of bias. That's true. You're probably going to find more bias on this channel than any other channel. But at the end of the day, it's riddled with truth. There's people that I stand by, that I root for, that I like, but I'm going to have to tell you the truth. I would love to tell you that Adesanya is going to lose this fight, but I can't say that because that fool's going to run. He's going to use his long limbs to keep the distance. He's going to point fight. He's going to beat him mentally because Robert Whitaker is going to want to be going toe-to-toe. Even though that fool likes to go in and out as well, that's not gonna bode well against someone like Adesanya. Robert Whitaker is going to have to try to go toe-to-toe. And he's going to get demoralized because he's not going to be able to get in there. And every time he does get in there, Adesanya is going to use one of those long limbs to tee off on it. It's not going to happen for Whitaker. The only chance Whitaker has, is if he could withstand a couple shots and get in there, take him down, and work the groundwork. That's all that he could do. If he gets some like Blackowitz and gets him on the ground, that's the only way. Everybody's seen that fool exposed now, but he doesn't have the size that Blackowitz has. But we already know about everybody in the UFC. It's a universal thing. The best wrestlers in the UFC, they don't like to wrestle. They refuse to wrestle. That's like a thing. It's like an unspoken thing. If you love to wrestle and you're a state champion and you're one of the best wrestlers ever and you come into the UFC, you have to automatically stop wrestling. Don't use your wrestling anymore. Okay, I don't care if you're Metal. I don't care if you're Gaethje. I don't care if you're DC, and all of a sudden you think you got to go toe to toe to prove something. If you're one of the best wrestlers of all time, Olympian, state champion, whatever, when you come to the UFC, it's over. No more wrestling. All right. So I'm not gonna count on the fact that Whitaker's gonna try to wrestle him, because people in the UFC don't do that. It doesn't happen. Even Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley was trying to wrestle Jake Paul more in the boxing ring than we saw him trying to wrestle in his last several fights. All of a sudden, Angus Ferguson. Let's say if Izzy loses, how do you think he'd handle it? Will he get a straight rematch? As a Robert fan, it's hard to watch him have to fight 3 times for a title match. Let me read that again. Let's say if Izzy loses, how do you think he handled it? He wouldn't handle it well, because he was having a hard enough time, and you could tell he was trying to put that front on. He was trying to act like a good sport, like as far as like not like talking up front, blatant, straight trash talk after he lost to Blachowicz. But if you go back and watch the post-fight press conference, and I did a whole video about it, the video that I did, my Adesanya versus Blachowicz recap, it had everything from the beginning, the pre-fight press conference, the fight, and the post-fight. It covered the whole everything. And you could tell, I mean, so cringy the whole time. He was like backhandedly trying to compliment that fool and talk about how he actually did win in an alternate universe. He actually did have him here in this guillotine, but he let it go because he didn't want to win like that. Like, that fool is delusional. So he didn't handle that one well, and that fool is way bigger than him. He had no shot against that fool. So for him to lose to someone way smaller like Whitaker, I don't even know what he would do in that case. I mean, when you're dealing with someone like Adesanya, I mean, he does the weirdest stuff when he's on top of the world. Imagine when he's in a dark place. I don't even know. As a Robert fan, it's hard to watch him have to fight 3 times for a title rematch. Yeah. There's a lot of unfairness when it comes to people's trajectory and whether or not they deserve title shots and how they have to do it. I mean, we're reading right now in the articles and stuff like that about, what's that fool's name? Bilal? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Bilal Muhammad. How he's already like climbing the rankings. And he's already knowing. Like, he's got that self-awareness. You know, he's not playing games. He's like, I already know. Forget the rankings. Like, look, let me look at the rankings right now. Bilal Muhammad is a realist. You know, as much as we like to clown on him and stuff like that, he's a realist. And what he's saying right now is who cares about the rankings? He's like, I know that nobody cares about the rankings. I know that Dana White doesn't respect the rankings. I clicked on the wrong thing. So right now, Bilal Muhammad is he's ranked number 5 right now. Bilal Muhammad is ranked number 5. So he should be trying to call out, I don't know, Leon Edwards. Again, I don't know. Maybe Vicente Luque. He's probably more focused on calling out someone like Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to get Colby Covington. Colby Covington already technically on paper lost to Usman, but Bilal Muhammad should be calling out some of those fools, right? Covington, Burns, Edwards, Luque. Now let's look at who's below Muhammad. Let's look at ranks number 6 through 15. You got Masvidal, you got Thompson, you got Magny, Sean Brady, Michael Chiesa, Khamzat Chimaev, Jeff Neal. So Bilal Muhammad is calling out someone that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots below him. 6 spots below him, because he knows it's all about names. He already knows Dana White's game. It's all about the hype. It's not about the rankings. So that's the way that the UFC, that's the way that basically all the combat sports is operating right now. That's why you look at the Jake Paul narrative. It's all about hype. It's all about names. It's all about what the people are going to pay for, whether it's because they like them, whether it's because they like the freak show, whether it's because they just want to see someone lose. It's all about the hype. So everybody's trajectory is all over the place right now. It's not just about rankings. Everybody having to claw their way to the title shot, just like Oliveira right now. I'm going to get to it. I'm trying to follow things in order. But Angus Ferguson, I feel your pain. I mean, we look at some of our favorite fighters right now and the way that they're trying to claw their way to titles, and it's very unfair. It's all over the place because it's all about hype. It's all about the fan base. It's all about if these people can attract eyes or hatred or, you know, some kind of support or enthusiasm. Marloca! Marloca. I need a green tea break for that one. Thank you, Marloca. I don't know if you guys were all here from the beginning. I'm a little bit under the weather right now, so I'm gonna use that to buy myself some more vitamin C and some more NyQuil. Thank you, Marloca. I can't even roll my R's right now. Thank you, Marloca. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping through. Oh snap! Always appreciate the support, for real, Marloca. It means a lot to me. Thank you for enabling me to keep doing this kind of stuff. The support is very much appreciated. Angus Ferguson, thanks for the knowledge, Grandmaster. Keep up the great work. I'll try my best. Look, even on my off day, even on my sick day, there is no sick days. I tried. I asked YouTube, and they didn't respond to me. They sent me a bot. George G. Oh, GM, ¿qué tal? La pelea de Nogano contra Paul. Look, why are you trying to play me like that? Why are you trying to play me like that? You know I get down like Tony Ferguson. I'm a Chicano, all right? I'm a Chicano. So look it. This is what I'm gonna do, all right? Trying to put me on the spot. Gonna put me on the spot and everything. How about Nogano's fight against Paul when his hey, you're getting ahead of me, George G. You're getting ahead of me, GG. You're getting ahead of me. I'm gonna get to it. I like it. I like it, George G, and I see it coming. I like it, and I see the chess pieces moving, and I'm right there with you. All right? I like it. Mike Alfieri, Merry Christmas, Dojo fam. 42 big ones. That's a random number, and I like it. Wasn't that hold up. I'm trying to figure out how to use Google real quick. I was gonna say, wasn't that Jackie Robinson's number? For some reason, that number stuck in my head. I was like, I think that's Jackie Robinson. I don't know why that came to me. It's the NyQuil at work. I shouldn't have took it already. I should have took it after the stream. I could cough on you like this because you're not gonna get sick like this. Look, you guys aren't gonna get sick. It's all right. You can't get sick from screen to screen contact. But anyway, I got a little bit derailed. We were talking about Chael Sonnen. I don't know where that fool's at right now, but I'm hearing different stories. All right. And what I'm saying, like my bottom line right here, is if everything is all good, if he really was just standing up for his lady, if the cops really didn't book him or arrest him or put him in the hole or anything like that, if he really was doing the righteous thing and doing what a man should do and handling his business and getting himself some street cred after running his mouth all the time and talking papas and stuff like that, why haven't we heard from him? That's what I want to know. Now, I'm not trying to paint. I'm not trying to paint a bad picture. Listen to the details right here. I'm not trying to paint a bad picture. I'm observing the bad picture. All right. It's like if I'm in the museum right here. I didn't paint it. I'm just looking at it because that's all he's giving us to work with right here. I'm standing back like a spectator. I'm like, hey, fool, if this is the portrait you're putting before our eyes, all I could do is try to decipher what's right here. I don't got the paintbrush, you know. I'm not the one pulling the strings. You got to let us know what's going on. I'm not hoping that it's something bad, but all I'm left with is to assume that it's something bad. Because if it was any one of you, if it was me, and we knew that we were in the right, we would come out and say something. We would come out and say something. And I know some people are saying, well, he can't say anything right now. He can't say anything right now because there's still stuff at work and they got to get it all cleared up. And the charges, the articles are saying that all the charges were dropped. I think Big John McCartney was saying the same thing, that all charges were dropped. That at first, supposedly, someone was thinking about pressing charges, but everything was dropped. So who's lying? Big John McCartney or Chael or who? Or the victims? I don't know. Everything's up in the air right now. I think it's just weird that he's not saying anything. So let's move on to the people that are talking right now. The people who want to fight or that don't want to fight Jake Paul. Now, I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't like to hear that name. They don't like to have the name thrown around. They feel that it's disrespectful to the MMA community. When are you going to accept reality? It was a lot easier back in the day when he was fighting YouTubers, strict YouTubers, you know? It was a lot easier back in the day when he was fighting, although a professional athlete, all-star, slam dunk contest champion, basketball player, okay. That was easier. When he's fighting Ben Askren, okay, this fool's winning world titles, okay, undefeated for a long time, okay, Olympian and everything. Well, was he Olympian? I think he was an Olympian. I'm not sure. But then everybody keeps making excuses. It's getting difficult to continue making excuses at this point for all the Jake Paul haters. At some point, when you're going to accept reality, it's getting harder and harder for you to keep saying stuff. I mean, all the people, where's all the people at after he beat Tyron Woodley the first time? And they were like, if it happened again, and now he knows what he's up against, and now he fixed this. And there was people when Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley fought the first time, you wouldn't hear people stop talking after the fact. Now we see the holes in Jake's game. He's never going to fight again. Now we saw him against a real fighter. Now we see how he has shortcomings. Now, did you see the second fight? What are you going to say now? What are we talking about at this point? I'm telling you, I understand you not liking people that are annoying, people that are running their mouth, people that are like obnoxious YouTubers, and you don't like their personas because of the Disney Channel. You think they're soft and everything. But how many people do you need to see get laid out? How many more bodies need to be added to that one meme of the couch with Nate Robinson and Ben Askren? How many more bodies need to hit the floor? What is it going to take? Is it going to take you? It seems like at this point, that's what it is, that there's still fools holding out like, no. How about you get in there then? I don't know what else to tell you. Who do you want in there? Fedor? I don't know. Shaquille O'Neal? Oprah Winfrey? Joe Rogan? Who does he need to fight to earn your respect? Fools like Jake Paul, you know the reason they get into the ring in the first place. They're trying to earn their dad's respect. You know? That's why they get into, there's some kind of issue there. They're trying to get somebody's attention. So at a certain point, like, what do they got to do to get yours? How many people do they got to beat? If it was anybody else and they were beating the people that Jake Paul has beaten, they would have got your respect already. If it would have been, what's that fool's name? That was a WWE star and he kept losing. He kept losing all the time and he just became a meme. What's that fool's name? Not Brock Lesnar. WWE guy in MMA. What's his name? Brock Lesnar came up. CM Punk. If CM Punk were to beat, I mean, those YouTube guys, whatever, Nate Robinson, but if CM Punk, hey, look it. If CM Punk beat Ben Askren, would he not have your respect? I'm just getting so sick of fools not being real, not being honest. Think about it. Get rid of your bias already. Just think about it. Strip everything down. Think about back in the day. Forget the time. Forget about the time where you even know who Jake Paul is, all right? Because he came onto the scene like a couple years ago, all right? At least in the fighting world. So think about this. I want you to think about this long and hard, but also short and quick because we got to move on. When CM Punk came onto the scene with his reputation coming from WWE and all that, and Ben Askren coming from his reputation. Now, today, here and now, people look at Ben Askren like a meme, all right? We all know this because of the Masvidal thing, which was like a freak kind of thing that could happen to anybody. But then especially it got even more magnified because of the Jake Paul thing. I know it's like impossible, but try to erase that from your memory. If you could go back to a time before that, imagine how you would feel if CM Punk defeated Ben Askren. You wouldn't be able to give him enough respect. You'd be like, oh, snap, Ben Askren, the however many time champion for all these years, undefeated wrestler. Oh, man, CM Punk's the real deal. He's the truth. You wouldn't be able to stop praising that fool. People will be on that. You know how the MMA Twitter, they all have to have some kind of like joke in their username about like, hey, I'm Michael Bisping's this and I'm Joe Rogan's that. And, you know, somebody will be talking about CM Punk in their username. That will be a big deal in the MMA community. If that fool beat Ben Askren, he will be like levels up there. automatically for beating who was at that time a legend. At that time, Ben Askren was a legend. Today, he's a meme. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth. And that's what you come here for, the truth. I was going to name this podcast The Rear Naked Truth. I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever, but I guess somebody already took it years ago. But then they stopped doing it. They did like 3 podcasts and then they quit. So I don't know. I was thinking about hitting them up, but I was like, they'll probably charge me like $5,000 to try to use the name. Chef X Hyrule, the difference is CM Punk actually tried fighting MMA fighters in MMA. Paul sticks to boxing and cherry picks within his element. All right, I'm right there with you. And then we could grow. This conversation is about to grow. We're going to go into different territories right here, but that is a good point. The difference is CM Punk actually tried fighting MMA fighters in MMA. That's the key right there. Not only were the MMA fighters, it was actually in MMA. Paul sticks to boxing and cherry picks within his element. All right. Okay. I hear you. All right. And let's go on from there. If CM Punk would have beat Tyron Woodley, like, let's not even talk about that. Like, you just need to get off the internet if that's even an argument right there. If CM Punk would have beat Ben Askren, you would have gave him all the respect in the world. He beats Tyron Woodley? Come on. But yeah, now there's the thing right there about fighting within his element. All right. Well, that gets a little bit trickier because Jake Paul has been, I heard someone say, I think yesterday, I can't remember, that Jake Paul has been strictly training in boxing for, I think, 4 years, they said, which is a little longer than I thought was the truth. But someone said for 4 years. And I know it's not the same when you're training for MMA. I know it's not the same because you are training for boxing. Woodley was training for boxing, but it was like MMA boxing. You know, MMA boxing is not boxing. And I know some people will get offended to hear that, but hey, you got to pick a side of the argument then. You got to pick a side. Is MMA boxing laughable or not? Because if it's not, then you got to stop hating on MMA fighters boxing Jake Paul. All right? Because everybody always wants to talk about Nate Diaz's boxing, even though he punches like this. Everyone always wants to talk about how he's like the best boxer in the UFC and stuff like that. Okay. But that's MMA boxing though. Okay. And you got to pick a side of the argument. Is MMA boxing a joke that only works within the parameters of MMA, or is it for real? And it's serious. They know how to box. Okay, then how come they can't go toe-to-toe with Jake Paul then? Which one is it? And if boxing is for real, MMA boxing is for real, and it's the truth, and it's not, you don't play with it, then I guess that just means Jake Paul's that much better then, right? I don't know. Like, which argument do you want to go with? Because I feel comfortable in either one. Which argument are we going with? Would you kindly, so Grandmaster, is it Fury or Junior next? That's what we're getting to. Thank you for trying to give me a transition right here. Thank you. So look, yes, I would appreciate it very much if you would hit that like button. It helps out the channel greatly. So look, here's what I'm talking about right here. And look, look, I know what you're saying. It is kind of frustrating because I don't want to not address this. It is kind of frustrating. By the way, I know people probably have places to go and stuff like that. And you're like, hey, I can't just sit here for 6 hours. I've been streaming 33 minutes. I'll probably stream like 27 more minutes or so. I'm trying to keep it to like an hour. We'll see. So in case you're like, I'm trying to figure out how to plan my day, I'll probably only be streaming another 30 minutes or so. So look, if I do want to address it. Yes, Jake Paul is boxing. And he's boxing people that aren't boxers. Okay, but then look, you gotta pay attention to what you're saying then. Caleb Foster, Grandmaster, you are keeping it too real. Merry Christmas, Grandmaster. Thank you, Caleb Foster. And that's what I do. And it's hard. And it expends a lot of energy because it's very easy to go with the narratives, with the popular narratives, you know, and that's why a lot of other channels, you go from channel to channel and they all have the exact same point of view and clips and takes and all that. That's not what you're going to get here. All right. This is for the MMA truth. And I guess the boxing truth now, basically it's just the real world truth. It's just the truth in general. Street Beef Scrapyard. Merry Christmas to Mexican martial arts from Fire Chicken. Fire Chicken. That's what's up. Merry Christmas to Mexican martial arts from Fire Chicken at Street Beef Scrapyard. Oh. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in. I just want to let you know that I'm very far from getting all my stuff together and trying to close the year out strong. You know, I want to let you know I'm very thankful to you and your team out there, and I have every intention of clawing into your world a little bit. I'm glad to still see you around. This is what needs to be addressed right here. This is what needs to be addressed. There's people hating on Jake Paul and his boxing capabilities and saying that he needs to fight a real boxer. Is that true? Yes. He needs to fight a real boxer. We need to see that take place. But at the same time, we need to stop talking papas and acting like this MMA fighter and that MMA fighter and that MMA fighter could beat him in boxing. That we need to be real about it. Because is there MMA boxing good enough for his pure boxing or not? Because everybody wants to act like it is until it's too late, and then they go back and say, "Oh, well, it was just MMA boxing. It has to be a real boxer." Then why were you talking papas before? If you know he needs to fight a real boxer, and you know that's the real test, and you know that's what's going to really get him the respect, then why were you talking papas saying that you saw him exposed during Jake Paul versus Woodley 1, and now he's going to get killed? Why are you now having to go back and say, "Oh, well, Tyrone Woodley's not a real boxer"? Then how come you said that he was going to win, that he was going to beat Jake Paul the second time? Then why were you saying that Ben Askren was going to win? Because he's a real athlete, because he has fought under the lights, because he has fought for world titles. Because how come? Let's stop backtracking. You can't do that. You got to pick a side of the argument. Now, if we want to talk about the future of Jake Paul, we could talk about the past all day, but let's move forward. What's next for Jake Paul? Is it Masvidal? I got a little list right here of names. Let me know if I forgot any. We got Masvidal. Masvidal doesn't want to box him. Masvidal doesn't want none. Masvidal, but here's what I got to respect about Masvidal. Masvidal's being real. Masvidal is self-aware, and he's being honest with himself. Masvidal isn't trying to say, "Well, yeah, let's do it because my MMA boxing will beat your actual boxing." Nah, he's saying, "Yeah, but let's do it over here where I could do everything, where I could elbow you, where I could kick you, where I could pound you into the canvas, and it's not enough money for me." It does kind of seem like an exit, like a way out. The way he keeps talking about the money like that. When I haven't done the research, I'm gonna be honest. So I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't think that Masvidal's making as much in the UFC as he will make in the Jake Paul fight. I don't know. I don't know about the details. I don't have enough time in the day to research that to see if that's true or not. I know that Jake Paul did call him out on it, and he did look at a lot of the numbers and stats, and he was like, "You're lying, fool. You would make more money if you fought me." I don't know the truth. But what I'm saying is, from the outside looking in, the take on that is Masvidal is just trying to get out of that situation and saying, no, if you want to kill me in the boxing ring, give me way more money, or let's do it over here in the UFC. It seems like a punk out. That's all I'm saying. It seems like a punk out. The end of the day, though, does Masvidal want to go toe-to-toe and box Jake Paul, which is what Jake Paul is doing right now? Jake Paul said after he goes 10-0 in boxing, then he'll go fight in MMA. So Masvidal's trying to fight him from the future because Jake Paul's not going to do that right now. It's not going to happen. So does Masvidal want some right now? No. All right, he's gone. He doesn't want it. He found a way out. He's making it about money. He's making it about what Masvidal is doing right now is like one of those fools that is like, no, I can't. I won't fight you in the cage because in the cage I can't use eye pokes and I can't bite you and hit you in the groin and I can't use all my death touches. You know how we laugh at those fools? Like those ones, and then we put them on the McDojo Life page. You know how people like to laugh at fools like that? And they're like, oh, they're just saying that's excuses. That's what Masvidal's doing right now. No, I don't want to go in there and box you. I want to bring you over here so I could do this and that and this. And then that way, then I beat you. But we don't laugh at that. Everyone still wants to laugh at Jake Paul. All right, forget about that fool. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Who wants to see that fight? Nobody is going to pay. Look, I went legitimate a couple years ago, all right? I can't even remember the last pay-per-view that I didn't pay for. I don't think I will pay for that one. Julio Cesar Chavez, I will watch him fight his dad maybe, but Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., are you kidding me? I wouldn't even watch that fool fight that one girl who's trying to stand up to Peña from the stands and was blocking everybody behind her because she's rude. What's her name? That blonde lady. She looks like Triple H. She's like stacked. What's her name? She was like an Olympian wrestler or something like that. Chef X Hyrule. I admit. Stop playing. I admit putting hopes in Woodley was a mistake, but this is Jake Trap. He beats guys good enough to prove he could fight, but not good enough to prove he could box. Hey, you're speaking nothing but the truth today, all right? The truth and nothing but the truth, all right? I respect that. Is Jake Paul doing that? Is it okay? Look, can we live in a world where everything that I'm saying is accurate and where this is also accurate? Yes, that is true. Jake Paul is doing that. You are correct. Cure Dior, thank you so much. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for supporting the chat. Kayla Harrison. Yeah, like I kind of don't even want to spend any more time talking about this one. Supposedly, and I think this is a bad move for Jake Paul. He's trying to call out Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s dad wouldn't even watch that fight. I don't know who would be interested in a fight like that. That would be so boring. The only reason I could think that he's looking at that angle is because he's like, all right, fine. You want me to fight a boxer? I'll fight a boxer. But that's embarrassing, fool. Like, why would you start off with someone like that? At least try to get Pacquiao or something. Like, that's only going to make you take a step backwards. It would make more sense for him to take the fight that he said he'll never take again because he doesn't want to give him another chance. It would make more sense for him to fight Tommy Fury, even though he said he didn't want to. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? Throw CM Punk back in there. That's ridiculous. I don't want to see that one. I don't know if anybody does want to see that one. I'm just interested if he did. If he did. Hey, Bisping even had technical issues earlier. You're not alone. Oh, what? I had technical issues. I didn't even notice. What happened? I'm having technical issues? What's wrong with the stream? I forgot what I was saying now. The only reason I could look at Jake Paul doing such a thing and why anyone at all would be interested is so they could be like, okay, fine. This is what I've been begging for forever. Now you're finally doing it. The Bros Paul, he should fight Anderson. I'm getting to that one. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point. The Bros Paul, thank you. Oh, not today. Okay, good. Yeah, you like every other day only though, huh? I am curious to know if anybody in the chat would respect him, though. Here's the only interesting thing about the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That fool's name's too long. I'm going to call him JC. The only interesting thing about Jake Paul fighting JC is that would that mean then that there's people, like all the people hating, all the people doubting, all the people saying, I don't care what Jake Paul does until he fights an actual boxer. If he fought JC and he beat him, would that make you respect him? Would that make you respect him as a fighter? Or would you, like me, be like, that doesn't even count? I respected him more when he beat Nate Robinson than when he beat JC because I don't even take JC seriously. Would you respect him more? That's the only intriguing thing about that for me, that people could finally stop crying and that argument and that excuse is now finally completely gone if that will make people respect him. And then after that, he could fight Rosie O'Donnell. He could fight Jerry Seinfeld. He could fight Steve Urkel, like whoever. And then people be like, oh, that's okay. I'm here for the freak show now because I already saw him beat a real boxer. So we're good. We know he could box now. That's the only thing I'm wondering. Okay, so someone says Muhammad Ali's in the chat. Thank you for stopping by, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali says when he beats a young boxer. Okay. So next we got Anderson Silva. Look it. Anderson Silva, and wasn't it JC? Look it, my brain is like all over the place right now. My brain is like 50% NyQuil right now. Anderson Silva. I'm like 99% sure, but I needed to check. Okay. It was Anderson Silva and JC who fought several months ago. That fight did happen. I'm not losing my mind. Stone Age Pro, do you think Eagle FC is going to rival the UFC? I'm gonna take a leap of faith here, and I'm gonna say, yeah. A few weeks ago, I would have laughed at that, and I would have said no. But you know, Khabib has that. He has that oil money. You know, they got that. You know what I'm talking about. You know, so he could just have his homies and his tios and everything just sending money through. You know, from back home, and he's gonna be paying the people that Dana White doesn't want to pay. We're already seeing people start to flock that way, and I don't think this is the end of it. I think all the names that keep us watching the UFC and the reason why we're there, I think they're just gonna go, and they're gonna be right here, and it's like, well, they're all right here now. And then Eagle FC, people are watching it for like free right now. They're not having to pay like $70 a pay-per-view and stuff like that. Not as far as I know. I don't know, but I think so. I really think so now. Salty Knives, yup. My baby pooed on my Woodley bobblehead. Oh my gosh. It's an omen. It's an omen. But look, Anderson Silva, he fought JC a while back. I didn't think he looked that impressive. It looked like a sad, like underwater legends kind of battle. It's sad. I'm not an Anderson Silva hater by any means. I don't know if that fool's ever fought where I haven't rooted for him. I like Anderson Silva, but it was sad to watch. It was like watching like a Cobra Kai on the Netflix one. It was like watching a Cobra Kai kind of choreography. It was sad. It was slow. It was not good. It was not a peak performance of any kind. And I'm telling you right here, right now, I think Jake Paul would lay out Silva. He squashed him like a little spider that he got scared of when he ran into at nighttime. That's what I'm talking. I speak from experience. Daniel Young, can we talk about him calling people his size, though? Oh, we're getting to that. We're getting to that and much more. I think so. It's kind of like maybe it's a little workaround. Let me see. I got to think about that more. But I see what you're saying, Daniel Young. Can we talk about him calling out people his size, though? That will make a lot more sense. That will cause people to respect him more as well. But Anderson Silva, I think Jake will lay him out. I think he will lay him out. There's no question. He sprayed the raid on that fool, and that's it. TKO. Nate Diaz, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nate Diaz couldn't even finish with Masvidal because he's too fragile now. And I've never been a big Nate Diaz hater either. I was rocking with him from day one. You could go, I think it was my first ever upload on this channel. I've been rocking with him since day one. But are we going to be real or not? Do you want me to sugarcoat things? At a certain point, I don't know what people want from me because we see the truth. It couldn't be more clear, but then I talk about it and people's feelings get hurt. Am I going to say the truth or not? People like that don't need yes men. That doesn't help anybody. Nate Diaz, at this point in his career, he's just too fragile now. He's too fragile now. He can't go. I mean, he'll be backstage in the warm-ups. You know, like they're barely showing the co-main. And he's backstage, you know how the camera cuts, and he's hitting pads. That fool's already bleeding. He can't get into the ring with Jake. Howard Hayward? I don't know what that little accent above the A means. Howard Hayward Rainberg. Think Nate remembers the Bionicle movie, though? Oh, come on. Stop playing. Howard Hayward Rainberg. Think Nate remembers the Bionicle movie, though? Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what the Bionicle movie is, though. What is that? I'm looking it up. It looks like little Lego kind of guys. Bionicle movie. I'm lost on this one. Think Nate remembers the Bionicle movie? Was Nate Diaz in that movie or what? Did he play like a voiceover? Hey, my throat's giving out on me. My throat's giving out on me. He should fight Stephen A. Smith. I don't think it would be a good fight. I just want to see Stephen get punched in the mouth. Definitely. Oh, stop playing. Next is Sean Strickland. I mean, that's an interesting one because of the personality of Sean Strickland. If you don't know who Sean Strickland is, he's like the Jeffrey Dahmer of the UFC. He's the fool that's always saying that he has to actively stop himself every day from actually taking someone's life. that he legitimate. He's not saying like Mike Tyson, like I want to eat you in my cereal, and I want to like put strawberry syrup on you, and then I'm gonna spit you back out, and I'm gonna eat you for leftovers later. Like, it's not trash talk. He wants to take a life. He wants to put someone in the obituary. Like, this is for real. He actually, when he was talking to Ariel Helwani, like if he was his therapist and stuff like that, the only reason he was talking to Ariel is because he actually killed his therapist. That fool's for real. He's not playing. He's crazy. If it was in an MMA match, yeah, he'd probably tear some limbs off. He'd probably try to eat them alive. But we're talking about a boxing match again. Doesn't matter how crazy you are. If I tried to tell him. I told them earlier. They don't want to listen. Marilena has the memory of that one. What's Nemo's sister's name? Dory? Joe Filo! New Zealand Samoan fan. I'm betting the house that if Jake fights Masvidal or Nate Diaz, they're old, but you don't want to mess with Latinos and know how to throw hands. This Jake has no left hook. That's in the Latino blood right there, the left hook. Footwork, hand movement, only throws 1-2s. Thank you so much, by the way. I appreciate the love all the way from New Zealand. Samoan. I'm betting the house if Jake Paul fights Masvidal or Nate Diaz, they're old, but you don't want to mess with Latinos and know how to throw hands. This Jake has no left hook, footwork, hand movement, only throws 1-2s. He does need, it is surprising after that 4 years of boxing training how he only throws those 1-2s. Did it work against Woodley? Yes, but it is surprising that after all the work he's done, they haven't decided to add more than that. Maybe they felt like up to this point, that was all they needed because they knew who they were going to be facing. So it is going to be, that is a very, first of all, I'm going to be honest. This is a very biased point of view, but I think it's a very interesting thing to consider. Is that the only thing that he's been training in his camps and doing in the fights because he was so aware of who it was that he was facing? And he was like, I don't need more than a 1-2. And that 1-2 and the faking and the way he was doing it is what helped to put Tyron Woodley out. I do understand what you're saying, though. It makes a lot of sense. You get dogs like that. Who was it not that long ago? There was some kind of a dog fight like that where someone just kept, the other person just couldn't put him away. And they just kept coming forward. I can't remember who it was. I don't think I'm thinking of Gaethje and Chandler. It was something after that, I thought. Where it's like, hey, you just come up with a certain kind of individual. It doesn't matter what you're landing on them. They're just going to keep coming forward. Now, we do see that with Nate Diaz. But the thing is, especially in a boxing match, I think boxing is more like that even than MMA. I think. I could be wrong. Imagine how early they'd stop the fight. If it was a street fight, I'm with you. But imagine how early they'd stop the fight in a boxing match when Nate Diaz starts bleeding the way that he does. It will be over so quickly. Even if he didn't want to, even if he wanted to keep going, I think it would be out of his control. And Masvidal, I know he's got that heart, but look, I'm not trying to come at you sideways, all right? I'm just trying. I have to respect. I have to respect the fact of why you're here. I have to consider you, all right? The reason you're here is because the truth and nothing but the truth. And I have to respect that. I can't start to sugarcoat stuff and be like, what would they want to hear? I know why you're here, for the truth. And the truth is, we already addressed Nate Diaz and the bleeding and stuff like that. Even if he wanted to keep going, even if he's like, maybe in the parking lot after, we'll be good. The ref would stop it. As far as Masvidal, look at what Usman did to him. And Usman doesn't know how to box. I know everybody wants to say that he's the best boxer now because of, what's that fool's name? Trevor Whitman or something like that. He's amazing. He's growing as a boxer. Yeah, but make him just straight box. No clinching, no elbows, no knees, no foot stomps. Make him put the gloves on, put some shoes on that fool. Take that skirt off him, put some shorts on him. Make him just straight box. We've seen him against Covington. We've seen him almost get knocked out against Burns. Remember, he got phased a couple times. He can't box. He doesn't know how to protect himself. And the moment he faces adversity, he starts throwing haymakers. He's a good, decent, at least now, because he has grown, MMA boxer. But straight boxer, that's why even Dana White, and you know Dana White loves Kamaru Usman. You know it's that Dana White knight in shining armor for Kamaru Usman all day and night. You know he loves that fool. But even he laughed when they started talking about him fighting Canelo. He can't straight box. He's not a Puritan like that. He could mix it up in MMA, but not straight boxing. Stone Age Prude, okay. But honestly, Lawler versus Jake Paul would rock. I believe it, but it will be exciting. But I do think it's sad to say, you know, everybody has to get older. I do think that Lawler's a little bit broken down now. I do think he's a little bit broken down, and I don't think it will be the Lawler that we'd want to see fight Jake Paul. And we have to understand that if Jake Paul beat Lawler, which he would, people would still disrespect because they would say he's not a straight boxer. I do appreciate what you're saying, though, because I think you're saying like, nah, but he's good enough. He'd get my respect. Yeah, but the majority, they wouldn't feel that way. They still be crying. Thank you, the Eagle. I appreciate that. Jake Rucan says Jake Paul will beat 80% of the UFC roster in a boxing match. I'm dead serious. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, Sean Strickland. I never finished that one right there. It is intimidating. It's a little bit weird because that fool's a little bit crazy. But in a straight boxing match, nah, especially because of how crazy he is. You got to be composed in a boxing match. You can't just go in there throwing haymakers and acting like an animal. Look at what happened to Wilder. You can only get so far doing that until you get someone in there that's composed and knows how to move around and play the boxing game. It is a science. Tommy Fury. Jake Paul has already said, I'm never going to give him another shot. He's had his chance now. Is this Jake Paul's way of getting out of it? And I know everyone's already saying, yes, it doesn't like Jake Paul. Is this Jake Paul's way of making it seem like he punked out, he found an excuse, he didn't want to fight me, he ran away from this gigantic purse, it's his loss, and now Jake Paul sounds like the one with the upper hand? Sure, but it could also sound like this was a beautiful way for him to get out of having to fight a young boxer. I know that's the way a lot of people are looking at it. But you have to think of how and I've never been one to champion the whole styles make fights thing. I think that's lame. I think that's an excuse. If two fools need to get down, it doesn't matter what their backgrounds are. Someone's got to win. Don't be crying about, well, I'm a wrestler and he's not a wrestler. Nay, when it came down to it, mano a mano, who came up the victor? I don't care about styles and how they make fight. Someone's going to win and that's it. That's all that matters. All right? But because it's strictly boxing, we do have to consider their different styles and their approach to fighting and the way that Tommy Fury fights. I don't know if he would be aggressive enough to beat a Jake Paul. Woodley wasn't even aggressive enough to beat him in the points. Even to the moment of the knockout, Jake Paul was leading, I think, by 1 point. I couldn't believe it. I remember when I was watching, Tyron Woodley looked so much more aggressive. I thought for sure he was winning. I thought he was dominating. When I saw the points, I couldn't believe it. That's why I was saying this is shameful. I thought it was rigged. I was like, how is this happening? I was in the middle saying this is shameful. Oh, and then the knockout happened. It's crazy. You have to go watch it on my Fight Companion video. A bunch of people time-stamped it because I was in the middle of saying how it was so shameful. And then the word talked into like, oh, snap. I couldn't believe it. Adam B. Okay, what about Whitaker or Adesanya? Same size. Oh, you mean against Paul? Okay. So let me cap off Tommy Fury real quick before I move on to that. I think Jake Paul will beat Tommy Fury. I think he would because Tommy Fury isn't even as nearly as aggressive as Woodley was. And so some people would think, well, Tommy Fury isn't going to be aggressive and tee off and get knocked out. He'll win by points. Well, Tyron Woodley was even way more aggressive, and even he couldn't win by points. Jake Paul was still winning by points. So Jake Paul could play the point game. He'll do that 1-2 all night long, in and out, 1-2, in and out, 1-2, in and out. Or he has that one-punch knockout power. So people wanting to say Tommy Fury could just keep him at bay, he could play the point game and win, so could Jake Paul. He could play the point game too. And he could do the knockout game. So I think that would be a good fight. I'm not interested in seeing that fight because I got to keep reminding myself the reason I like Jake Paul fighting is because the freak show. The Tommy Fury fight isn't enough of a freak show to me. It's kind of boring. But it would help to legitimize Jake Paul's name. Do I want that? From my perspective, I don't think I do. Because I kind of like Jake Paul not being a legitimate fighter so that I could keep telling people I told you so when he wins. Because he's the underdog still to everybody, but I can see what's happening. Now, you might not respect that because you'll be like, well, who cares if he's winning? He's not fighting real fighters. It's just a matter of opinion, I guess, matter of perspective. We all come at it from different ways. I think it would be a reasonable matchup, though, for him to fight Tommy Fury again, and I think he will beat him. Whitaker or Adesanya? I think Jake Paul will beat them both in a straight boxing match. And it's kind of like an unfair, tricky kind of thing to tackle because, of course, they will both beat him in an MMA match right now. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but if Jake Paul started training in MMA as strictly and as enthusiastically and as seriously as he's training in boxing right now, could he do just as good in MMA in the future and beat Adesanya and Whitaker? Of course he could. And I know that has a lot of people crying right now. But those are the same people that were crying when Jake Paul's name started showing up in MMA world all the time and coming out of Ariel Helwani's mouth and stuff like that. Well, he's winning now, isn't he? Because he took the boxing seriously and he trained hard. And the same thing would happen if he trained in the sport that he started to begin with. What's like the best MMA base that everyone always talks about that you got to start in? Wrestling. Jake Paul was a state champion wrestler. Division 1. Are you kidding me? He started off in boxing from nothing, and now he's laying all these fools out. If he starts now in wrestling, he's not starting from nothing. He's starting from state champion Division 1 status. People, they just don't want to admit it. They don't want to look at reality. Do I think Jake Paul will beat Whitaker or Adesanya in a straight boxing match right now? That's almost offensive. Yes, he would. Why? Because he's practicing straight boxing right now. They're not. It's a complete different thing. It's a complete different thing. If you've ever sparred, if you've ever been part of a dojo and you do martial arts, you do Shotokan, you do even Muay Thai, you do some kind of karate, and you're used to throwing knees and elbows and legs and stuff like that, sometimes your instructor will be like, all right, now just hands, and all you could do is box. It's challenging. It's way different when you're used to being able to kick fools in the head. When you're used to being able to clinch up and wrap around and take them down. It's hard. It's way more tiring. You got to be way more calculated and agile with the way you're using just these two right here. It's way different. It's a way different challenge. And when you take someone like Whitaker or Adesanya who's used to being able to use everything, it's like a handicap. It becomes like a mind game because Jake Paul's like, I'm already used to this. This is all I use. And when you take those two, they're like, this is all I could use. And it messes them up. Because when you're in there fighting with someone and you're only able to box and you know in your head, if only I could kick this fool, I would kill him. It messes with you. It gets inside here and it throws you off. And it doesn't allow you to be in the same place where Jake Paul is, where he's like, this is fine. This is what I've been doing for years. It's not the same thing. Chef X Hyrule, what did I miss? I've been gone for 20 minutes because I broke a bottle of the soy sauce. Oh, no. I hope it didn't ruin your meal. I hope that you were still able to get some onto your food. I have had meals before that require soy sauce, and then I had to eat them without soy sauce, and it was very undesirable. I hope that you got that figured out. All you've missed was a bunch of Jake Paul praise and the fact that he would lay all these fools out. Booty Falcon, welcome to the YouTube membership. So we move on to Ngannou, Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, I don't know if you heard, he's been saying that after this last fight, win or lose, he doesn't even care. He's out. He doesn't want to be in the UFC anymore. A lot of people are saying that he's going to Eagle FC. I think somebody mentioned this earlier in the super chat that he's probably going to be going to Eagle FC. Hey, Booty Falcon, I think you've been a YouTube member. I think Sad Attic is referencing this. So you probably already know about the Discord and behind the scenes stuff like that you can find on the community tab. I hope that you dig in there and that you know what you have access to now. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you know what's up, Booty Falcon. I appreciate you coming back on. That means a lot to me. It would have been really easy not to. So thank you. A lot of people are thinking that Nogano might move to Eagle FC because they're going to pay him better and they're going to respect him more. And that's just a little piece over there. You know, you got Kevin Lee over there now. Not a lot of people care unless they're there for the meme of it. You got Nogano going over there. People are saying that there's talks about Tony Ferguson going over there and that he's going to try to weasel his way in and maybe try to get into – he's going to try to start a feud with the boss just like Tito and Dana. Like, so people can still see that rivalry going even though, like, Khabib might actually not fight. Even though there was talks a while back that even though Khabib wasn't going to fight, that he might be open to doing a grappling match with him. Anything's open. That could be like the biggest Eagle FC pay-per-view to kick things off. A grappling match between Ferguson and Khabib. And you know that fool's a little bit off his rocker. Ferguson, I could just imagine that fool in a grappling match throwing some elbows or stuff like that. And then Khabib being forced to defend himself. And it's not breaking a promise to his mom or anything like that. It's just off the fence, you know? But Nogano, a lot of people, Nogano was praising Jake Paul in a recent interview and saying that how good he was doing and everything. And that's like the first steps, you know? The first steps is building the other fool up. That way, when you come face to face with them, people are like, hey, he was building him up. That means maybe he's a real deal. If Nogano was talking him down and being like, he's nothing, he's fake, he's fighting people that aren't real boxers, that would be different. Then if he ever did fight him, people will be like, well, why are you fighting him if you talked him down? But Nogano's building up Jake Paul. He's saying that he's the truth. He's saying that he's impressive. He's saying that he likes what he's doing. And this happens to come at the same time Nogano is saying that he doesn't want to sign with the UFC anymore. He's waiting for that big payday. I think Nogano wants to fight Jake Paul. Hayes. Thank you, Hayes. Thank you for the contribution. Ian Cole just joined the YouTube membership. Thank you, Ian Cole. Thank you so much. We are family. Zach Hughes, member for 17 months. That's what's up. The long haul. Thank you, Zach Hughes. Thank you. Nogano is unhappy in the UFC. He's not going to resign. He's over here praising Jake Paul. Jake Paul's looking for a new opponent. Jake Paul's continuously looking for someone to make his resume look better and better. That's going to put respect on people, on his name. That's going to make people appreciate what he's doing. Who better to do that than Nogano? Now, Nogano has been wanting to fight Tyson Fury for the longest. And this is probably just considered a stepping stone to him. Not only will he go toe-to-toe with Jake Paul and get the biggest payday he's ever gotten, now because Jake Paul is significantly smaller than him, Nogano could look at it like, I'm getting a gigantic payday and I'm fighting someone who's a boxer, because no one's taking Nogano seriously about fighting Tyson Fury. So from Nogano's perspective, if he beats Jake Paul, that'll be his foot in the door, you know? That'll be the stepping stone. So then when he wants to fight Nogano, he'll be like, I already beat a boxer. I already beat this undefeated boxer that's TKOing all these legends. This is my route now to fight Tyson Fury. And then maybe that'll start, maybe beating Jake Paul, we'll start some papas going back and forth with Tommy Fury, and then maybe that'll make the big brother come in and say, hey, fight someone your own size. But that's all assuming that Nogano could beat Jake Paul. Can Nogano beat Jake Paul? Grasshopper Mouse. Oh, this is getting interesting. Elias Romero, are Jake's wins recorded as professional wins or exhibition? I was just looking into this the other day, and I'm pretty sure they're counted as professional. I was looking on that fool's Wikipedia or something like that. I'm pretty sure they're counted as professional. He's a professional. Professional boxing record. 5 wins, 0 losses, undefeated. So this is assuming that Nogano beats him. I mean, People praising Nogano's boxing is like praising Usman's boxing. Okay. It got better. We see people getting better. We see people improving. We see people growing. And we're like, there they go. It got better. Okay. It got a little bit better. It got tighter. It got cleaner. But it's still MMA boxing. It's not boxing. When you're an MMA fighter, you can't afford to train boxing, or you're going to get destroyed in your next MMA match. You got to focus on everything. We remember what Nogano looked like when he went against people like Stipe Muchacho the first time around, at least. Stipe Muchacho, and I'm not a Stipe Muchacho fanboy by any means. I was going for DC when they fought. Like I don't hate Stipe Muchacho, but I'm not a fanboy. I've rooted for him. I've rooted against him. Doesn't matter. He's a likable guy. He was off his game the second time, and he underestimated him because of how we ragdolled him the first time around. But you definitely see the holes in Nogano's game when he's doing his stand-up. There's a lot of improvements to be made. He's not a straight boxer. There's a good chance that Jake Paul would lay that fool out. There's a good chance. I mean, if you took let's go to extremes. Let's say you took some big old gigantic sumo wrestler, right? You took some big old sumo wrestler. And you put him in the boxing ring with Jake Paul, and you said you can only box. Some of you might be tempted to be like, hey, that fool's he's like 8 times Jake Paul's size. He's too big. Yeah, but they're boxing, okay? They're boxing. If that fool tries to body slam him, tries to sit on him, it's disqualification. They can only box, okay? So if you take Nogano, who's way bigger, stronger, and all that, and they can only box, why is it any different? Can I please get people to be logical in the chat? Can I please? All I'm asking for is I'm like John Lennon. All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth. That's a deep cut right there. That's a deep cut. That's all I'm asking for today. That's all I'm asking for. Will the people who are willing to talk about the truth please stand up right now? That's it. I'm going to give you the example one more time. If you took a big old gigantic person like a sumo wrestler and all you wanted to do was focus on their size and how much bigger they are, and you put them against Jake Paul and you're like, now box. What are you going to say? Your brain might want to think that fool could squash him, he could slam him, he could sit on him, he could lay on top of him, but it's a boxing match. It's a boxing match. Stop playing around. Stop getting distracted. Now, if you take someone that's way bigger and stronger and powerful like Nogano, you have to say the same thing. It's a boxing match. It's not an MMA match. It's not an MMA fight. And I see people in there saying, well, yeah, he's got hands. He's got hands. Did he have hands against Stipe Muchacho the first time? And look, I'm not going to try to take away nothing from Nogano. And I know it sounds like I am. But when he did knock out Stipe Muchacho, you know that was a freak shot. You know that Stipe Muchacho shouldn't have let down his guard the way that he did. Now look at this. I want to see if people are being honest with themselves. When Tyrone Woodley, now listen, because I see a lot of people typing, like, hey, Grandmaster, here's why you're wrong. Grandmaster, here's why Nogano will beat him. Grandmaster, stop it. You're lying. No, listen though. For a moment, stop your fingers and listen to this, because this is some real truth right here. All right? When Tyrone Woodley lost to Jake Paul, all people wanted to talk about was it was fake, it was staged, it was rigged. Didn't you see how Jake Paul cued him and Tyrone Woodley put his hand down and dropped his guard? That's all people wanted to talk about. That the only reason that Jake Paul won was because Tyrone Woodley put his hand down. He wasn't guarding himself. Okay. I like that. And I'll raise you this. Then how come when Stipe Muchacho got knocked out, because in a moment of weakness, in a moment of being distracted, he let his guard down, he got knocked out, all of a sudden Nogano has the best hands ever now? Okay, so then with that logic, does Jake Paul have the best hands ever? Or should Tyrone Woodley have just kept his hand up? Oh, you want to go with that one? He should have just kept his hand up? because Jake Paul's hands aren't that impressive. Okay, then Muchacho should have kept his hands up too because Nogano's hands aren't that impressive. Which one are we going with? Which one are we going with? You can't stand on the fence for that long because you're going to fall off, homie, or you're going to do one of these. Oh, you can't do that. You got to pick one or the other. John Lee, fighters deserve more money. Dana White, deep pockets, needs to pay his fighters. Eagle FC, I hope gives UFC some stiff competition. We all win. I believe it. I believe it. Do I feel a little bit bad for Bellator? I do. Bellator is like the Mervins of the MMA world at this point. I feel bad for them. You got like JC Penney and you got Macy's right here, like UFC and Eagle FC, and then Bellator is like Mervins. I do feel a little bit bad for them. But I'm telling you, look, people like to stay right here on the surface. They like to have like their initial thought, but people don't like to follow things to their logical conclusions because it hurts. It hurts them. All right? And people don't want to admit it. I don't know how many more examples I could give you of how things line up. I think at this point, it's like one of those things where if you go into an argument with someone, it's only going to reinforce what they believe to begin with. And you're just going to have to know by seeing it yourself, by seeing it play out. Does Nogano have hands? Sure. A lot of people have hands. Does Tyrone Woodley also had that single punch knockout power? Where was that? I don't know. We could just beat this all day. Where was those hands when Nogano fought Derek Lewis? I mean, they come and go, and they land every once in a while as a lucky shot because fools don't know how to keep their hands up. The next one is Canelo. That was the last one on my list. I think, here's the reason why I think that was a joke. Canelo, here's all the names I had on my list of potential opponents for Jake Paul. Masvidal, JC, also known as Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Anderson Silva, Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, Sean Strickland, Tommy Fury, Francis Ngannou, and Canelo. Canelo is the only one on that list as of right now that could be Jake Paul. And you might be surprised to hear me say that at this point because you probably thought I was going to say that Jake Paul is like invincible and he could beat anybody. Now, we have to remember that Jake Paul wants to go 10-0 in boxing before he moves on to MMA. By the time Jake Paul is 9-0, could he beat Canelo in a boxing match for 10-0? I think it's possible. Probably. If that fight happens, you already know I'm going to be making a prediction that Jake Paul is going to win. Yeah, I think so. I think so. And here's my reason. And I know this is where a lot of people are like, all right, that's it. That's it. I tried to rock with you, Grandmaster. I tried, but I can't. Look. Just hold your breath for a moment and just take this ride with me, all right? Didn't you feel the same way about Amanda Nunes? How many people thought it was a joke? How many people laughed in the Grandmaster's face when he told you what Peña was going to do to her? When he told you that the lion tamer was going to come in and crack the whip? People were laughing. People were betting like, what was it, like $316,000 against Peña? Who's laughing now? It's like Journey said, that was who's crying now. I'm mixing up things. Aren't you the same people? Aren't you the same people? What do you have to say now? What do you have to say now? Because look, you got to remember, do I tend to feel biased, very biased, very opinionated, even somewhat contrarian ways from time to time? Sure. But what do we know about the Grandmaster? At the end of the day, I'm going to let you say it. Do I tend to be biased? Do I have my favorites? Do I have things that I want to happen? Do I have things that I want to see? Yeah, but at the end of the day, what are you going to get here? That's all that matters. There's the one and only reason that you come here for, and that's what I'm going to give you. Chef X Hyro, GM is a little woozy from the vitamin C. Although that may be true. You know what's up. Patrick Morales, thank you. MMA truthers rise up. No matter how I feel, you're going to get the truth here. That's what I'm going to give you. You're going to get the truth. And the same thing that happened to Amanda Nunes. Look it. Now, I know this is hard for you to take right now, okay? I know this is hard for you to take, just like those big old fat, bigger than I've ever seen in my life NyQuil pills that I've been having to take for the last couple of days because I'm feeling it right now, all right? I know this is hard for you to remember, but let's go back in time with me right now, okay? Let's go back in time a little bit because some of you guys forgot. D-Kosh. Now, Jim, you got to be playing about how hyped you are on Jake. I think he was promising, but this early on, to hold him in such high regard after having still not faced a pure boxer. D-Kosh, it's like, I can't even tell you how many emails I've been receiving lately. I can't even open my emails anymore. I can't even tell you how many emails I've been receiving from betting websites because they want the perspective of the Grandmaster. I can't even open my emails anymore because I've been inundated with all these people that want my take early on because they're trying to make money. They want to place their best. They're trying to get sponsorships and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I don't know how to explain it, but I see these things coming. And every once in a while, I like to have some fun and I like to joke around a little bit and I like to let my bias take over. But if I'm going to be honest about stuff and if I'm going to be giving you the truth, I see these things coming. I remember from day one when people were getting mad at MMA World and they were unsubscribing and they were leaving hateful comments. Stop talking about Jake Paul or I'm going to leave. I'm unsubscribed. I'm not going to watch anymore. And I was saying from back then, why are you mad? He's going to keep winning. You don't like watching fights or what? You don't like watching good fights? And I was saying fight after fight, he's going to win. Another prediction, he's going to win. It's going to be his year. I said like, early on in January 2021 is going to be his year. Like before anything even was happening, it's going to be his year. And he kept winning. I kept predicting these things. I see them coming. People talking about MMA math all the time. I'm like on that MMA calculus. I'm like 3, 5, 7 steps ahead. Mystic Jesse at work. Thank you, Patrick Morales. That's what I was talking about right there with Dustin and Charles. Game Canteen KT. Sometimes I have fun and let the bias take over. I was talking about the Gucci this and that, but I had a revelation. Apparently, Oliveira's inspired by the Gucci. He's winning so that he could keep buying that Gucci. And people don't want to acknowledge that the day after I posted my prediction video, I posted a follow-up video saying that Dustin was out of his mind. That he was acting crazy, that fool was one pepper short of a cayenne, that he didn't know what he was doing, that fool was just trying to push hot sauce at a certain point, and he wasn't in love with the game anymore. But people don't want to talk about that. D-Coach, it's all love for Mystic GM. Hey, all love here. I appreciate the back and forth. All opinions are welcome. Thank you so much, D-Coach. EMR, thank you for joining the YouTube membership. I think you just joined, huh? Did you upgrade? So look, here's what I'm saying. The same people that doubted, that didn't want to listen to me, that Amanda Nunes was going to lose to Peña, those take that journey back in time with me. Those are the same people that thought Ronda Rousey would never lose. And when you think about that now, look at how ridiculous that looks. Because you see what happened to her. Look at how laughable that is now. Everyone that wants to be so confident right now and wants to like, oh, gee, hey, Grandmaster, you're just going crazy. Now, look at the meme that Ronda Rousey became. And look at how at one time people thought she was invincible. I'm not going with the crowd, homie. I go against the grain. I get there first. And then I'm like, all right, everybody catch up. Let me walk you through what's going on. All right? I'm just trying to get there first and lead you to safety. All right. I know that the masses are on the other side of the fence. I get that, but I'm not concerned with that. I'm not afraid to leap over and bring you up to speed when you finally catch up with me. Everybody felt the same way about Ronda Rousey. And then they had to learn. And then everybody felt the same way about Conor McGregor. And then they had to learn. Everybody felt the same way about Adesanya. Oh, forget that kickboxing match a long time ago, or the two against Usain Full. Forget it. MMA now is a different thing. And then he lost to Young. And it's the same thing. Same thing with Nunes. It's the same thing with Nunes. And it's going to be the same thing with Canelo. He's going to get to that point where he's going to start to see aliens and stuff like GSP. He's like, I don't even want to be the champ anymore. I want to stop seeing stuff. I haven't heard GSP say he saw anything since he stopped being the champ. I think Amanda Nunes is seeing stuff. She's on that. I always feel like somebody's watching me. She wants to get out of that. She wants to get out of the limelight. She just wants to enjoy her time at home now and chill with all the money that she's made. I'm not saying that that's the only reason that Peña won. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, for whatever millions of reasons it could have been, that's how she felt, and now she lost. The same thing could happen to Canelo. Hey, you put GSP and Canelo in a dark alley, who's going to win? GSP. He's going to tag team in an alien, whatever, however he has to do it, GSP is going to win, right? If you're playing, if you're going to say Canelo, please see yourself out. Sean McDonald, thank you. Thank you for joining the YouTube membership. You have access to the Discord now, access to behind-the-scenes videos and stuff like that. If you go up to my community tab and scroll down, thank you so much, Sean McDonald. Everybody felt the same way about GSP, except for that one fight that he shouldn't have won. That he was invincible, that he was the GOAT, that he was the best ever. And then look at what happened to him. He started, woo, okay? Same thing could happen to Canelo. We've seen everybody fall from grace. Remember Goldberg? Remember the spear? The jackhammer? That fool was like 500-0. Remember that? He won like 500 fights before he finally lost. It could happen to anybody. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, we saw Canelo get punked around by Mayweather. Of all people, Mayweather, the guy who doesn't like to even fight. He just wants to go like this all night. We saw Canelo get spanked by him. And look, it's the same people. We want to joke about how Mayweather's not a real fighter, how he doesn't even throw punches, how he has no power, how he just likes to run, how he just likes to avoid. But then he punked Canelo and made him look childish. But then we act like Canelo's invincible and Canelo could just run through everybody. We've seen him be invincible. And it's not just a matter of him being younger. It's a matter of styles. And I think Jake Paul could Philly roll and 1-2 that for all night. If he gets to the 9-0 mark and keeps growing every step of the way. Jake Paul TKOs JC, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He TKOs Tommy Fury. He TKOs Nogano. By the time he gets to Canelo, he's like, oh, snap, he beat Nogano? How am I going to fight him? And he's destroyed mentally before he even gets there. Gonna turn that fool's orange head gray. He's already, you can see the last fight that Canelo was going into with that one fool. I don't know his name. I don't think anybody knows his name. But I was telling the homie that I was watching that fight with, this looks like a swan song for Canelo. He looked like he didn't even want to be at that fight. It was weird. It had a weird vibe to it, a weird atmosphere. I thought for sure he was taking a dive. I don't know what was going on. If he's already feeling that way against this one fool and no one else even remembers his name, something Plant. Imagine when he goes against Jake Paul. That's every day, bro. I think people need to start looking at the situation as a whole. All the people that they've ever doubted in the past. All the people who have overcome the underdog stories that we've witnessed. The people who were at the top and couldn't deal with it anymore. People who put in the time and the effort and the blood and the sweat and the tears. When we're chilling, when we're scrolling Google and finding out that Chael's in jail and that people don't want to fight Jake Paul and that Kamza is in more Twitter fights than he is in UFC fights, and what's happening now, and do I have to wear my mask again, or do I not have to wear it? Can I wear 2 of them? Should I not? Will they kick me out if I do? Can I go to Costco? You know what Jake Paul's doing? He's training. He's training and he's getting better. I just want to know if we're going to be real or not. The last thing that I had to say that I wanted to address today was Oliveira. And I was right. Did he win? Sure. But he's all about that Gucci, homie. He's all about that money. And people, let me show you the rankings real quick. Oliveira's at the top. He's got Gaethje. Hey, look, let me put some anger. Let me put some anger into your hearts right now. We got Oliveira at the top. Now, let me just rattle off some names for you, all right? These are all the people below Oliveira, all right? Oliveira is a champion. Then we got, and I'm going to say them in order, of course, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Beneil Dariush, Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, Rafael Dos Anjos, Tony Ferguson, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, number 9. You heard that right, number 9. Conor McGregor is number 9 on the list. People have been waiting for the longest for Justin Gaethje to finally get a shot. They thought that he should have got it after he beat Michael Chandler and skipped ahead of Poirier because Poirier wanted that money instead and fought Conor twice. They're like, Gaethje deserves it. Some people say he didn't because he got choked out and embarrassed by Khabib not that long ago. Whatever. Oliveira is now saying, yeah, I'm all about that Gucci. I'm going to wait till May. I think that was the day. He's going to wait till May. Till Conor's ready to come back and he's going to fight number 9. He's going to skip over 8 people. He's going to duck Gaethje, a rematch with Poirier, Dariush, who is the real contender, if we're being honest, Makhachev. He's going to wait till May to fight the fool that can't beat anybody anymore. So I'll leave that for you to ponder over. Is he winning? Sure. He's motivated by that Gucci. He's motivated by that money. And as long as Gucci leaves their doors open, Oliveira might just keep winning. He's going to leapfrog over 8 different people to give Conor McGregor another shot at losing. I don't even know how McGregor is a money fight anymore. Even, people were watching his fights before because of the trash talk, and it's exciting, and he's fun to hate, and he's fun. Even the trash talk isn't good anymore. That fool fell off. It's weird now. Even when he was fighting Poirier, I think the second time, even Poirier was like, fool, you don't even know how to trash talk anymore. This is weird. It doesn't work anymore. I don't understand how he continues to be a money fight. It doesn't make any sense. But that's where Oliveira's at right now. He doesn't care about the rankings. He doesn't care about the people who fought and clawed their way up. He's going to hold out for the money fight. My voice isn't really operating at a high level anymore. I have addressed everything that was on my list today. It took me 1 hour and 31 minutes to get through it. My goal today was to stream for only an hour. I beat it by a little bit. I don't know how much more active I'm going to be able to be this month because I'm not feeling that great. Christmas and things are coming up. I'm probably going to be doing some family things, but I would like to make some more videos. I am working on a long boy for you guys right now. I know people have been very supportive of my shorter videos, and I thank you very much. I've been extremely active. I've been making a bunch of shorts. People have been very supportive of them for the most part. A couple people were wanting some more of the long boys, and I am working on one right now. I just started working on it last night. I'm hoping to finish it before the year's over. And then I have another long boy that I'm hoping to get started at the beginning of the year that I hope people enjoy. I know I'll enjoy working on it, but that didn't matter when I made that office video. So we'll see. 7, Eddie Wardo 7. Member for 17 months. So everybody just have a safe time out there. Enjoy yourselves out there. Thank you so much for stopping by. More people stopped in today than I expected. I appreciate it very much. Don't forget to wear your jackets out there so you don't end up like me. I was in the cold way too long one night. Now I'm paying the consequences. Thank you for watching Below the Beanie, episode 7, Mexican martial arts. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Late. Oh, don't do that right now. It's my sign off.